If you've been with me on this channel for a while, then you know that I've conducted a series of interviews with sales pros. I've done these long form interviews to give you insights, ideas, and techniques from veteran professionals in the world of sales. Now, this clip is a selected question and answer from one of those past interviews. And it's a point that I want to highlight to help you to gain a new idea or new technique that you can apply to be more successful in sales. If you've watched the whole interview, this will reinforce a key point. If you haven't, then I hope it whets your appetite to go back to the list of videos on my channel and find the full interview and watch it. Enjoy this tip. All right, Jeff. So then when it comes to EI and sales, what role do you think EI plays in the sales process?
I think there's a lot of areas and we could go on forever, but I think that maybe the best thing is to take you back to a story that was back in 1989 that was before what we called EI, but I think it will resonate. And it was a time where I was getting ready, Michael, to buy my first new car. I was not a car person, so my brother Bruce took me out. We had 3 different dealerships we were going to look at. And we went to the first car dealership and it was, okay, nothing memorable. I didn't buy a vehicle. I went to the second place. And again, nothing memorable and neither good nor bad. I went to the third place. It was in Rock Island, Illinois, a place called Campbell Olds. I can see it. I can see the salesperson, Mark. And I was actually looking at a Cutlass Supreme 1989. And at that time, that was right when the electronic miles per hour kind of stuff and things were getting more computerized. And Mark and I and my brother Bruce were going through some things and all was pleasant. He knew his stuff. But near the very end of the appointment, Mark said, and I'll never forget it, and it was a big piece coming back to your question about EI playing a part in sales. He said, I don't know if you're going to purchase a vehicle here or not. That's up to you. But because there's so many things going on with these new computers for all of us, and we've had a few glitches here and there, just in case you do, I'd love to introduce you to Gary in our service department. Look at our service department because things happen. And it's just the way it is. Nothing is perfect. And I went in and met Gary. Well, that was the car I ended up buying. So long story short, circling back, that was way before the term emotional intelligence really came into play. But that was, as we refer to, and you know this, it was very authentic. Now we look back, very authentic and someone being very open and honest about a possible mistake that is going on. But emotion is emotion and human evolution and all those things going, Michael. I bought the third car. And at that time, we didn't have MRIs and neuroscience. But as time went on, I really always thought back to that story. And it was very specific, small story, but it always resonated. And to this day, that was really a story that, again, coming back to your original question about EI and sales, that is the part of it that he made me feel good, number one, but I also saw somebody that wasn't trying to overdo it and was willing to show we've got some shortcomings, but here's what we're going to do about it. Does that answer your question?
It sure does. I mean, there's actually a lot in that little story, Jeff. One is that you mentioned that the salesperson, Mark, he knew his stuff, right? And that's important, that EI is not a panacea or a magic bullet to make more sales. It will certainly enhance and improve your process, but you still need to know your stuff. Right. 2, you know that there's competition out there. Mark knew that there's a chance that you've met someone else at another dealership and you might just better connect with that person. And yet he wanted to be vulnerable and authentic and transparent and recognize the reality of the situation and still want to help you by inviting you to meet the service manager.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of the book written by Bob Berg and John David Mann, The Go-Giver, where in that book, Joe, the salesperson, learns that by giving of himself and not necessarily just to make a sale, that you may actually improve and enhance your future success. So it reminds me of that. I think it's an excellent story, Jeff, that really highlights the role of EI in sales.